Here's how I went from Wonga loan to a few properties and a few quid in just a few years. Hi, my name's Chris Bradley, welcome back to the channel. So obviously most of these videos are centered around running a fitness business or a little bit of personal stuff, buying a villa and what we're up to in general life. Today is the latter. So first of all, what is Wonga? Anyone who's over the age of 25 will probably remember Wonga. Wonga is a payday loan company, or should I say it was a payday loan company. And basically what would happen is you'd get a loan from Wonga over the next 7 days, they would slap a bunch of interest on it and you'd have to pay it back in that time duration, but they would transfer the cash within seconds. To give you an example of the interest that they charged, if you borrowed £100 for them for the next 7 days, they would charge you £113.60. And any day you went over that agreement, they would keep on adding charges on top of that. The company got heavily criticised by politicians who called them a leading example in predatory lending. So in short, they basically took advantage of people who were skint and they needed cash ASAP, and then just chucked interest on it, making it harder to pay back. I think the company's now dissolved completely and went into administration. But we're going to take a trip down memory lane and talk about my experience with Wonga then versus where I am now. And if you've ever taken a payday loan out, or if it's been Wonga, whatever, any other company, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And by the way, this isn't some rags to riches story for you to feel sorry for me. It's just I went through a period of my time in 2013, 2014 where I started using this payday loan service. It gave me a moment of reflection when I saw a couple of emails to reflect on where I am now and what I'm grateful for. Okay, so as I mentioned, I got loans in 2013 right through to 2014, ranging from £70 right through to £200 from this company. I'm going to pop an email on screen for you to see me emailing Wonga when they were due to take their repayment, but the way that my payment worked, I wasn't getting paid from my employer until the Monday, so I was scared I was going to incur charges. So you can see here me basically just saying, hi, very nice email in 2013 saying I'm going to pay you back, but my payment's just delayed from my work, do you mind not charging me extra? So I think that kind of shows you the level of scarcity that I was in when I was trying to pay back these loans, and I think that's the kind of people that these companies thrived on back then. They never ended up replying to the email and I just got charged anyway. So let's talk about a few reasons that I ended up in this position, because this isn't a video for you to feel sorry for me. It's also not a video for me to be like, look how successful I am now and I've came from the dumps. It's not that at all. It's just to hopefully get anyone watching this to realise that when you're in a position that you're in just now, if you don't feel it's very comfortable in a circumstance that you feel you can't change, then you definitely can. And these next 3 points that I mentioned, hopefully you take some inspiration from it. Hopefully there's a bit of a light bulb moment with one of them and maybe you make a change as well. So when I was sitting thinking about making this video and thinking, okay, if someone was getting a Wonga loan just now, or someone was in a similar situation that I was in 2013, what would be the roadmap to get to being in a position that I'm in just now, when I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I've got a couple of properties, I'm in a good place financially and personally? What advice would I give to someone to go from there to there? Because I know for a fact when I was in that position in 2013, I'd like for someone to say to me, I've been where you're at, what about trying this, trying that? And of course there isn't any perfect roadmap, but there's certainly relatability here I think that you could take from this. So number one, doesn't sound very fancy, but I winged it and I just worked hard. I think that's really the key message here, is that I wasn't waiting for something miraculous to happen. I was still winging it, and to be honest, I'm still winging it to this day, but I knew that by winging it but also working hard, I would get out of that position. Because at the end of the day, most of the reason that I was getting those loans was my fault. It was completely up to me. I was reckless with money, which I'll talk about in point 2. I was careless, I was young, and I was just trying to get by payday. Now I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this still maybe live payday to payday, especially monthly payment. You kind of get paid one month and you think you're a king for the weekend, and then come the Monday you're gathering dust for your lunch money. Not as severe as that, but you get what I mean. So yeah, I think the message is it's just like, I've always been winging it, but I knew that by working hard you create your own luck. So it was like, right, okay, whatever position that I'm in just now, as long as I continue to work hard and realise that, okay, I've not got a plan and I've not got everything figured out, that eventually things will work out for you. The next thing is I found my passion. I found what I was passionate about doing. I kind of settled for. I was kind of like, you know what, I don't have many qualifications from school. I'll happily take this job that I've got and I'm getting decent money. It's enough for me to live a decent life, buy clothes, go out nights out, all that kind of stuff. But once I found my passion, I realised that actually there's a bigger world out there, there's more opportunities and there's more chances for you to be happy. So when I finally found my passion, which at the time was personal training, there was several years when I was doing personal training, absolutely loving it, but there was always that little voice in my head, that limiting belief that actually you should be going back to the other employees because this is too good. You've got too much freedom, your income's pretty much you can keep building the income, you could keep going with this if you wanted. So there was always that limiting belief and that kind of imposter syndrome that I felt when I went from getting Wonga loans to a couple of years later, all of a sudden clients are handing you a couple of £100 to personal train them, which felt weird to me. I've covered that in previous videos. I think if I was to think of 2013 2013 getting longer loans to, 2016, 2017 making pretty good money, like making double what I was making in previous jobs. I think the biggest thing to think about was that, right, okay, you do feel like an imposter here, but it's perfectly normal. You are still winging it, because I think everybody thinks they have to have this plan, especially as you get to 25 onwards. You think, oh, what's the 5-year plan? What's the 10-year strategy? And I'm 33 recording this video and I still don't have a strategy. I just know, which I'll cover at the end of this video, I just know some things that I want and some things that fulfill me, and that changes as time goes on. And then number 3, I started to realise what actually success meant to me, and this changes a lot. It changes probably every year as you change as a person. Success before might mean that you went to the dancing and pulled a girl. It might mean that you managed to get in a certain shape that makes you feel a certain way. It might mean that you got promoted in work. It might mean that your kid gets to 2 years of age and you go, do you know what, I've really raised that kid well. That's success to me. So understand that while you're winging it and working hard, success moves and changes as you go. And what I've realised now is that success to me is, okay, we want to, have certain assets, we want to have maybe a bigger house, or we want more money in the bank or whatever. But for me now, it's just, I'm so clear on what success means to me, and it's like enjoy my life. It's enjoy my life. It's serving people who I would have a beer with. Clients pay you money, but you'd also get a beer with them. You'd also sit and have a coffee with them. And that's the big success metric for me now. And I know it doesn't sound crazy ambitious or whatever, but there will be the vehicle that will get me there. Like, I'll help people, we'll build a new program, we'll start new things, we'll launch new events and things like that. But ultimately it all bottles down to, right, okay, when you wake up in the morning, are you fulfilled by the people you're serving and the things that you're doing? And for me, that's the case. So when I think back to 2013, 2014, when I was getting these loans, success, there wasn't a success metric. It was more just, yeah, let's get beer money, let's go out at the weekend, let's, work hard in a job that you don't like, but one day that it might prevail. I could have sat here and wrote down 10 of my best ideas to get you from that to that, but quite honestly, it's very person specific, and I don't want to contradict what I'm saying here, because there wasn't a plan. There honestly wasn't. It was just graft. It was work hard, opportunities land in your lap, but they don't, because you create them, and then that's when you stick to it. There was times there, probably 2006, like 17, 18, where it was like, I need to chuck this. So there was all those challenges in the middle of that, but I think they're very specific to my circumstance, so I don't think bringing them up is just going to help, because it would seem like I'm giving you a cheat sheet or a cheat code from debt to a relative amount of success. So to round up this whole video, the kind of thing I want you to think about is, like, for me, when I wake up, one of the most exciting things for me is being able to serve people that I enjoy helping, being able to do a job that I love. It's thinking about the bath I'm going to have that night, which is free. It's not free. Cheryl will tell you that it costs a lot of money to run water every night, but a bath is my enjoyable thing. It's pretty cheap to have a bath. Getting a morning coffee and sitting there sipping it is another one of my life's pleasures. There's multiple things that I do: coming out of a shower, putting joggies on, a hoodie, just sitting there, working on stuff, getting creative, drawing on my iPad. Those are the things that, when I think of like 2013, 14 me, I'd have laughed at the idea that would bring me so much happiness. I'd have thought that I needed the best car, the best house, I needed to look a certain way on social media, I needed people to think of me in a certain way. When actually, when you fast track it through all that journey and stuff, having properties and more money in the bank, I actually get more excited now by having a morning coffee, by going out for dinner, by having a good bath, by being on holiday or being in the sun. And that's kind of the big lesson from me looking at 2013 me to now. So hopefully you found that relatable. I think that if you're in debt just now, if you're feeling like you're living payday, I think just understanding that not to hold a mirror up to yourself too much and make yourself feel any worse, but you're the person that can change it. I think like just pursuing your passion, hopefully your passion pays you, and if it doesn't at the start, then I'm sure it can eventually will. And that's where I'm not going to push the hustle culture or whatever, but I definitely think you have to roll up your sleeves and get the work done, because by doing the work and showing up consistently, that's when luck falls in your lap, and actually you've just created your own luck. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you are in a position that I was in 2013-14, let me know. I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you don't want to share it publicly, privately message me on Instagram. I'd be happy to chat to you. Hope you found it remotely inspiring. Any questions, let me know. Speak to you soon.